Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at more new card reveals. We're getting them by the day. Most of these are officially revealed, others have been revealed by other sources as their promo reveal sort of thing and have been translated from Japanese, so the effects may not be 100%. You can easily tell due to the black and white background, so that would be pretty obvious for you guys. So the first one, straight off the Shadowverse Twitter, Havencraft, I think that's how we'll say that. 5-drop 4/4 Portalcraft Gold. Fanfare, put a random artifact card from your deck into your hand. Repeat once if resonance is active for you. So playing on the resonance effect, being able to draw your random artifact cards from your deck, which if you plan out your deck right, you should be able to guarantee what kind of artifacts you're drawing or get very close to what you want every time, especially with resonance, being able to double it up. So if you play this on the right kind of curve, you will be pretty set. Plus, it's got a solid body as a 4/4 with a 6/6 evolve, so you could quite easily use this for trading if necessary. Other than that, it's got a pretty basic effect, but I think it will go nicely with the other effects so far. Then we have the legendary for Portalcraft, Magna Legacy, an 8-drop 6/6. Fanfare, deal X damage to all enemy followers. This value equals the number of allied artifact cards destroyed during this match. So allied artifact cards being destroyed interests me a little bit. I don't know, I'm guessing that doesn't count playing them, so the artifact spells or any kind of, well, I don't think there is any artifact spells anyway, but any artifact that has been destroyed on the board as a follower will be pretty simple. I think this will apply really nicely with the early game stuff. This will basically be a finisher. It's a pain that it's all enemy followers, so really you're only going to be using it as a board clear, I guess. But who knows, this may be the only decent board clear Portal gets, so I don't know how to feel about Magna Legacy. I feel like it's a good card for an 8 stat, like, you know, 8 cost, 6/6, okay stat line, effect, better to average, I would say, but definitely solid. Then we have Biofabrication. This one is really interesting. A 0-drop spell. Not something I expected us to see. Not sure whether this is meant to be some form of token because I haven't actually gone through every single card here and meticulously went over their effects. So I'm pretty sure this is just going to be a 0-drop spell. Subtract 1 from the cost of an artifact card in your hand, put 3 copies of that artifact card into your deck. If it's not, it's going to be formed off another card. I'm not really sure what they're aiming for, but we'll take a look at the next card and see. So we have Crimson Bow, Elf, 3-drop 2/3, Forestcraft of course, and it's basically just got to evolve, deal 2 damage to X random enemy followers. X equals the number of cards played this turn, including this card, maximum 5 random enemy followers, of course, because there is only 5 cards on board. So I like this mechanic, I like how it functions, I don't mind it being a 3-drop, especially for that effect. Costing you an evolve point, I can see this working. Maybe they're going to move to a more control-orientated forest, which would be nice to see. I wouldn't mind seeing a mid to control deck running cards like this, so pretty solid card for forest. Then we have Accolade, a 1-drop spell, Swordcraft. Give an allied follower clash, draw a card, change the follower into a commander follower if they are an officer follower. So this card's okay in a lot of cases. You can use it, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head you really use this for, honestly. But the card draw is solid. Turning an officer into a commander can open up different synergies. Other than that, it's just an all-round pretty average card to not, I wouldn't say it is necessarily a bad card. In comparison to something like Mentor's Teachings, sure, definitely not as good. But as is right now, since Mentors will be rotating out, I think this is a good addition for a 1-drop. Then we have Nova Flare, 4-drop Runecraft card, deal 2 damage to all followers, basically just a AoE effect. Literally that is all it is. Depending on stat lines, most stat lines seem to be, what, 2 to 3 defense for your average 2 to 3 drop. So this card could see play. It might work well with the Rune Legendary that was revealed the other day, especially with the extra damage boost on it permanently. So 3 to 4 damage boosts would be optimal, getting, you know, that 3 to 4 damage on your opponent. Then we have Dungeon Explorer Clo, 3-drop 3/2 bronze neutral. Fanfare, give another allied follower the ability to ignore ward. Basically the same as that Shadow card, 1-drop. Obviously different stat line. I don't like the 3/2 stat line to begin with, but ignoring ward may be really good against Haven, because Haven seems to be going the ward route, so this could be an okay card to include in some decks if Haven rises to popularity. Then we have Icarus, a 2-drop 2/2. I'm really enjoying that artwork, especially the mechanical design. I like that cool steampunky look. We've got, it's of course a Portalcraft card, hence the steampunk look. Fanfare, put 2 ancient artifacts into your deck. Ancient artifact is a 3/1 rush artifact, so not too bad at all. Definitely some value there. Then we have Gravikinetic Warrior, another Portalcraft card, 4-drop 3/4, a stat line that's quite common and probably an average stat line, I would say. Fanfare, randomly put 2 of the following cards into your deck: Analyzing Artifact, Ancient Artifact, Mystic Artifact, or Radiant Artifact. And then evolve, put a random artifact from your deck into your hand. Nothing too surprising, pretty normal. I think we have seen this effect before on a very similar card. I'm pretty sure it wasn't this one though. And the evolve is nice, you get to put a random artifact card from your deck in your hand. Now we've got the cards that have been translated from Japanese. These were from a few different sources, so yeah, they're not always going to be great translations. I've had to compile them over about 3 different translations to make sure they're all consistent, and this is the best that we've got. So a 3-drop neutral bronze spell, Pitfall. Obviously, destroy an enemy follower if it's attacked the previous turn. Not too shabby. Definitely going to be a good potential for, say, late to mid game where you can easily target things. Otherwise, I don't know whether you'd want it in an early game, just because you don't really want to be using it on something low and taking that kind of damage, but I could see this getting some use in some decks, at least in some type of way maybe. I would say it's an average card, definitely not a bad one though. Then we have Woods of the Fire Sprites, so I'm sure this will probably have a name change knowing the English translations, but it's a 1-drop bronze amulet for Forest, a countdown 2. When this amulet is returned to your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower. At the end of your turn, add a fairy to your hand. Last word, deal 1 damage to an random enemy follower. So this is going to be great with bouncing effects like Airbound Barrage, which is basically the main use for it, I could see. You probably wouldn't run this over Brambles right now, but when Brambles is eventually rotated, this card may see some play. But it might see play before that, because it is a 1-drop where Brambles is a 3-drop, so this actually has at least some potential. But whether you want to stock your deck with amulets, I suppose if Control Forest is what becomes viable, that could definitely do the job. Then we've got Vanguard Knight, Swordcraft, Silver Follower, 4 cost, 3/4 stat line with a 4/5 evolve. That's important because it's not a normal evolve stat line. Whenever an allied officer comes into play, restore 1 defense to your leader. And then evolve is summon 2 heavenly knights. Sorry, 2 heavy knights. So the 2 heavy knights are important. They're both officers, so you're going to be gaining 2 straight off the evolve along with getting the board. This is much better than not Palace Fencer. Alright, took a quick sec to look it up. Floral Fencer, much better than Floral Fencer in the way it is, just because you're going to get more value out of it. You're also getting the healing, which is a nice combo piece, and you're getting, of course, the 2 heavy knights, which I would consider better than the 2 cards that Floral Fencer gives you. So that is actually quite a nice card. Then we have Pegasus Dullahan, or Dullahan, I don't know. Pronunciation, not my strong suit. A 4-drop 3/3 gold Havencraft follower. This one actually interests me quite a bit. When this follower comes into play, restore 2 defense to all other allied followers. Last word, give to a random allied countdown amulet. Last word, summon a Pegasus Dullahan. So this has a lot of potential to keep some form of Stormhaven alive, and in Unlimited Stormhaven, this is going to be really good. This will also work really nicely with stuff like Tea Time. It will allow you to get double the value out of it. And obviously with the last word effect like that, as long as you have a countdown amulet on the field, this thing could pretty much be infinite value, as long as you can keep playing it. I just don't see any real major downside to this. I suppose the stat line for a 4 isn't the best, but it's solid enough that I would use this in a decent Haven deck, even as just a 1, probably at least a 2 of, I reckon, in an Amulet Haven based deck. Then we have Goblin Mount Behemoth, a 3-drop 1/4, and you'll see why, because it's a neutral silver follower with ward, fanfare enhance 5, +2/+2, does have standard stat gain, so with evolve it will be a 3/6, which is pretty okay for a 3-drop, I think, especially when it's got the enhance. It's basically going to replace Goblin Mount, the I think it's the 5-drop 3/7, I believe. So with Enhance, this becomes a 3/6 ward. I think it's a little toned down considering, or with the Evolve, I suppose it would be higher, which is good. The versatility is what I really like though. A 1/4 ward for 3 is a really solid card just to block out your opponent. It's actually probably a little bit worse than Spiderweb Imp because it costs 1 more, but being a neutral, being able to put this in any deck is just great. Then we've got a 6-drop 4/5 gold Forestcraft Fairy Saber. So this card has Rush, Fanfare. Your other followers get +1/+0. If you have played 2 or more cards this turn, all other followers get Rush. So this is going to be, I guess, focusing more on a board clear mechanic and buffing mechanic. We have seen similar forest cards before, so nothing too surprising. And being a 6-drop, it's mid-game-ish. Like I said in the other forest cards, it looks like they're going towards a more mid to late game sort of deck, so where they go to mid-forest or control forest. I feel like that's the direction forest is going to be pushed for a playable archetype. We may still see some form of aggro, but I doubt we'll see anything that is competitively viable. But until we see all the cards, it is really hard to make a concrete prediction on that. Then, well, I think this is the final card for this set. A 2-drop Amulet Runecraft Earth Sigil. So Fanfare, random summon a Clay Golem or Zombie. Pretty standard, nothing too surprising. Earth Sigil's good. Combos with Clay Golems could work out okay. Zombies not as much, but Earthright getting some more cards, always good to see, especially with stuff like this. It has some good potential in maybe a more control-y Earthright deck, or maybe just in a normal Earthright deck. It's pretty much going to replace other Earth Sigils and stuff that are probably going to be rotating out, so not too big a surprise. And that does complete the video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button and subscribe. As I mentioned in the last video, I have got a tournament going on tomorrow, which is only 20 odd hours away. You can sign up in the link in the description below if you want to, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.